Did you know that your gut is like your body's second brain? It affects your energy levels, your mood, and even your immune system. But here's the kicker. If your colon isn't happy, your whole body feels it. Bloating, fatigue, digestive issues. Sound familiar? Today, we're diving deep into colon health, what's messing it up, how to keep it in top shape, and why taking care of it now could literally add years to your life. Trust me, you don't want to miss this episode. Welcome, everybody. This is the Life Enthusiast online audio and visual show, restoring vitality to you and the planet.
Everybody calls it
TV, but I do.
Everybody calls it podcast, Scott.
Oh, podcast. Okay.
I'm
behind the times.
I watch podcasts on my TV.
All right, I'm going to call it the online podcast show.
If you must, aren't you the guy, the dean of podology?
I am the dean of blogonomics and podology, and unfortunately, my students have all passed me by, which is what I like. Welcome, George. Glad to see you here, joining us as usual. Before I forget, we need to do a couple quick things, one of which is we have a live question and answer period after on Telegram. So make sure you join us there. It's t.me Life & Co. And the other thing is, please, it really helps us. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the show, let your friends know about it. We're on a mission to restore vitality to the planet and to yourself. And we need your help. This is not a passive activity. And with that, Martin, let's talk about colon health. We're going to talk about some of the factors that affect it. We're going to show you or tell you how you can tell if your colon is unhealthy, how to maintain a healthy colon, and maybe some things that we can do to cleanse it. So Martin, first of all, why do we have a colon? What is a colon? Why is that important for those of us that don't know?
Why do we have a colon? I don't know.
It's a big, long thing, right? That goes all the way around our stomach.
Yeah. Whoever put us together, Scott, was a masterful thing. Some people say that we're made in the image of the Creator. Well, okay, great. Okay, why do we have it? Well, okay, it's the last stage of the digestive and eliminative. And the main job it does, it actually extracts water and recycles it back, because we would have to be drinking way, way, way more water if it were not drying it out. So that's how you end up pooping mostly solid things rather than having a diarrhea, which is the way to dehydrate your body quickly. And what to say about it? Multiple roles. A whole bunch of stuff gets made in the colon, like hormones and
I thought all it did was make our poop.
Yeah, well, okay, it's the concentrator for that. But a whole bunch of microbes live there, and they actually, in the process of reducing and processing the stuff, will actually produce desirable outputs. I wish I were more educated, I wish I knew everything about everything.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about some of the factors that affect colon health. So dietary choices. So if we're eating chips and drinking Coca-Cola, that's the best thing to do beers. That's the best.
I can totally talk about that. And let's mention this business called water and fiber, right? It starts with that. If you eat food that's low in fiber, and if it's not plain water, you're asking for trouble. So as soon as you mention Coca-Cola, well, there goes brown coloring and high fructose corn syrup if you're in the United States, or sugar if you're in Mexico.
All things that don't help.
Yeah, well, they don't.
Okay.
You know, here's an interesting thing. You really notice that things are not well in your colon if you're producing gas, as in gas out back, not burping.
Farting.
Yeah, okay, call it that. And it's interesting. There are some gases that don't have a smell, like carbon dioxide, and that is produced by fermentation. So if you're making alcohol in your gut, then you're going to have carbon dioxide as the output. It doesn't smell bad, but there's a large volume of it.
Right.
So that usually means that that underdigested carbohydrates are reaching into the gut.
Okay.
If underdigested fats get into the gut, it gets smelly. But if underdigested proteins get into the colon, then it gets foul. It's, you know, those are the putrescine and cadaverine and mercaptans and all of that. You know, mercaptan is the marker that's added to the methane that we call, what's that gas called? The stuff that we burn in our furnaces.
Natural gas?
Natural gas, that's what we call it. That's mostly methane, although there's a bit of propane and butane in it sometimes.
And it doesn't have a smell, so we have to add one.
We have to add smell so we would notice, because on its own, it doesn't smell at all.
So we always want to talk about degrees. So if you're farting every 5 minutes and it's stinky, you have a major problem. If you fart once every 6 months and you don't notice it, or maybe it has a slight smell, then you probably don't have a major issue.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's move on from farts. Well, and people talk about fiber-rich foods and versus processed foods. So if we're Kevin has joined us. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
George, great major problem for people. Yeah. So we want to make sure that so basically if you have like a Ritz cracker or pasta, that's probably not what you would call high fiber foods.
In fact, the opposite.
Yeah, they're low fiber foods. So you want to be eating like carrots and lettuce and celery and broccoli and cauliflower. That's the fiber that you want. So when you see a box that says high fiber Ritz, sorry, Ritz, it's not. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. You're in such an awesome mood today, Scott. I'm just appreciating the punch that you're adding to the conversation.
All right. So hydration is important. You already said forget the Coke and forget the beer. Just because it's wet doesn't mean it's hydrating.
Right.
What about physical activity? Like we should be, sitting in front of our computers 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And that because we're not moving around, it should allow that resting period for our colon to do its work, right?
Yeah. The number one constipation cure is a 30-minute walk.
I did that today.
Good on you. I'm still sitting on my tush since 6:30 this morning, and I'm really restless.
Yeah, it's really nice getting out. What I do is I have a map, and I pick a spot on the map, and I say I'm going to try to. My plan is to walk there and back, and I know that's a mile or 2 miles or whatever it is. Today, there's another spot on my map, and they make fresh beet juice with a bunch of good stuff in it, and they also have a ginger shot. So I get this beet juice glass, and then I get this ginger shot, take a couple of drinks, then drop the ginger in, and I have a really good morning drink. And it's about a half an hour round trip, so 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. And the reason I bring this all up is have a goal, right? Like, like look around. I want to go to this park, or I want to take the kids to the park, or the dog to the park, or whatever it is. and have a goal and then say, how many times a week do I want to do this particular activity? And then you just make time to do it. And it'll make a huge change in your life. Okay, so you need to go for a walk when we're done, Martin.
Yeah.
How about gut biomes, microbiomes, and probiotics?
Super important. And you started talking about fiber, and it's the food of the bugs, right? There are two types of fiber, soluble and insoluble. And the bugs consume all of that. And the most important ones are known oligosaccharides. And a saccharide is something like sugar. It usually is a 6 or 5 carbon thing. They have names like glucose, fructose, mannose, galactose, stuff like that. And starch is made as a string, 3 strings of glucose, long strings, fibers.
Oh, so connected together at the ends.
Oh, yeah. Glucose stacked together like tiles. Anyway, the oligosaccharides are simpler than starch, but more complex than a single sugar. And that's what the bugs, the microbes, like to eat. And there are 8 known oligosaccharides, and all of those are found in this product called Panaceum. And the cheeky producer, Remedy Link, called that thing Panaceum because it really does heal all things. When you put the right bugs in your gut, they seem to take care of just about any problem. So
that brings up a really good point, because we live in a society that seems to value sterility. And of course, it doesn't seem to realize that if you take it to the nth degree, which hospitals and other places do, you create lots of problems. But in sterility, when you apply to human beings, it means you can't have babies. Yet we're fanatic about, and of course, what's happening? There's, baby boom is long gone, and we're in a baby collapse right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, we really need to be aware of these things and the whole impact that they can have.
Yeah. Sterility. That's germophobia would be a better label for this. I don't wash my vegetables. I buy them organic, but I don't wash them after. I'm just saying, okay, I'll have it with the dirt.
Yeah. Well, we have a product that I really love that's based on getting stuff out of dirt. Right?
Are we talking about the humic acid?
No. Well, I mean, there's that one too, right? I was talking about the one that I always used to bug you about chewing, and they don't make them anymore. But you still have.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Body Biotics.
Body Biotics. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still available in capsules.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. Those are the consortia of dormant drugs, sporogenic in their native medium of fulvic acid, meaning bugs in dirt. Yeah.
Well, who knew we needed it, right? And every time I see these people buying, bottles and bottles of antibacterial stuff, I think you are just creating such a mess in your life on a micro being one family level, as opposed to the whole mass population, right? We do it on a mass level too.
Interestingly, right? Your skin has a natural barrier, and the barrier includes microbes. So when you remove them, you're actually making yourself vulnerable, not stronger.
Yeah. So you can think of the microbes as an army on your skin, that's on your side, protecting it from an army of who knows what trying to get through your skin to eat you. Right?
There we go.
And all what you're doing is you're basically killing your army, because the other army is never going away. It's going to get stronger and worse because of pollution and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, but the good news is when you go to the doctor or you go to the hospital and they give you a whole bunch of medicine to fix whatever your problem is that has no impact on your colon at all.
Yeah, never ever, right? So, come on, Scott, what's with this irony? it's going to look bad in the transcript.
So when you take antibiotics, you're killing the inside of your
Well,
now
when
it's like
you
the Amazon
upset,
forest getting clear cut, but
yeah,
it's in
that's
your
it.
gut.
That's a good metaphor. Clear cutting. Yeah. Industrial approach to health. Oh, that's an interesting sound. Anyway, so there was the idea
It was
here
a
is,
major fart. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, right. It sounded more like a motorcycle. Okay. Well, anyway, so that the deal with the gut, with the microbes, when you drink chlorinated water, why did they put the chlorine in it? It was for the sole purpose of killing harmful bacteria. Well, it kills all the bacteria. So when you drink chlorinated water, you're killing it off on the inside. The second important thing is glyphosate or Roundup was originally patented as an antibiotic. And it works this way. It kills the microbes at the root of the plant and deprives the plant of its ability to extract nutrients into its body. That's how it kills the
Oh,
plant. And so when you eat the flour, the bread, the lentils, the chickpeas that have been grown with the help of glyphosate, you're now introducing trace amounts, but enough to cause harm of this antibiotic constantly.
right.
When you eat chickens that have been raised in overcrowded barns, they have been fed antibiotics to keep the infections down. You overcrowd the animals and you have to preventively dose them with antibiotics, but you raise them toxic. And then you eat that stuff and it raises havoc in your gut.
So, Martin, as everybody knows, and we've said often, t.me/life and co is where we have our Telegram channel. And right after we're done here, we're going to be going there. And I think one of the topics we should talk about is, because it came up now and we don't have time, is why, when a bird like a chicken has bird flu, do we have to kill all the chickens? Like, don't animals normally get sick and then get better? They don't get sick and then die and infect everybody. Maybe the weak ones, or the old ones might, but that's just really an insane thing. But we don't want to get censored here, so we're not going to talk any more about it now. Let's talk a little bit about colon cleansing. Should we do a colon cleanse? Now, I had a friend who was colon hydrotherapy or whatever. Like, basically stuck a hose in your bum and would put coffee enemas in there and a whole bunch of other amazing things. And it wasn't nearly as unpleasant as I thought it would be.
Yeah. There are two ways. You rinse it out and you want to reach all the way around. Remember, colon is quite long, actually. It starts as the right hip in the front where your appendix is, and it runs up under your rib cage and then across and then down to the other side and across and out back. So it's about 1, 2, 3, 4 lengths of your forearm.
It's amazing that these things can be so long, eh?
Yeah. Anyway, about 6 feet. Yeah. So this business of colon hydrotherapy, well, if you're pooping something that looks like peanut butter, it's one, hard to wipe, hard to clean your back end. Two, it's sticky going out. It also is sticky on the inside. So that's not the good thing. What you're hoping to have is something that's about the shape and consistency of bananas. If it's the shape and consistency of chestnuts or pellets, you're underhydrating. You're too stressed and you're not drinking enough. If it's too wet, you are too parasympathetic. You're moving too fast. You're under dehydrating. So if you're pooping out porridge, that's too runny. Okay, not enough water removed. It's moving too fast. Not enough nutrients taken out. Anyway, so if you are,
And if it's like a brick,
all right, yeah,
if it's like a brick, I can tell you from experience, because that's the way it was in my 20s, at teenage and 20s, you're eating too much white bread. And it just turns into a cement paste. By the time it takes the water out, it is a solid brick. You're going to get hemorrhoids and grunting and pain and ouch, as George says. It's very, very unpleasant. And I have to tell you, Martin, that the cure for it for me, because I haven't had it for decades, has been the Exela line of products. Once I got off of bread and less carbs, and not off of bread, that's really not fair to say, but lowered my bread intake, and I got on the Exela foods, it was like a miracle. I don't think I've ever told you this, but it was a miracle.
Yeah, we have not done enough talking about your poop, Scott. That's clearly been missing in our relationship.
And as George says, ouch. Yes, George, unpleasant.
Yeah.
So,
Ouch
okay.
Indeed. Well, anyway, so if you're pooping peanut butter, you are coating the inside walls of your gut with this peanut butter, and the body is having to suck its water through all of that. Yeah, very unappetizing.
Well, and also now you've got this really bad stuff that's stuck on your colon, which means stuff is going to grow, that weeds are going to grow that you don't want, which is going to bring you into, colon cancer and all these other problems, the polyps and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And the other thing that happens is called mucoid plaque, Plaque, plaque. And it's essentially a coating. It's like an inner skin. If you could visualize a snake shedding its skin, this is the opposite. This is on the inside, but it's like that. And if you do a proper colon cleanse that will restore full function, you will end up pooping out something that's about 5 feet long, that's usually black, and it's got all kinds of, it looks like rope. Anyway. Yeah, some people have it in there, not some, many. It needs to come out.
Yeah, and the cool thing about doing the hydrocolon therapy, or however she calls it, anyway, is there's a tube that comes out, so basically whatever comes out of you goes in this tube, and there's a window, so you can actually see what's going out. And I was always incredibly disappointed because, of course, I'd been using the Exela products, which is why I would just get the little bit of stuff coming out, right? And she would be talking about people where it was just like gross. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. So go get the hydrotherapy and see what happens. And if you've got all this really bad stuff coming out of you, and she'll probably tell you to go again, but start taking the Exela products and the greens and the juices, and it'll really help.
Yeah.
So Martin, we have 6 minutes left, and usually this is the part we rush. So we rushed the other part so that we could talk a little bit about the Remedy Link products. And I'm not sure which one we want to talk about, but these are them, and we're going to put the link in the comments. And which ones do we want to talk about?
There's so many. Okay, well,
remember we're talking about colon here.
Yeah, okay. So the most important thing is the pH balance. You want to make sure that the poop that's coming out of you is less alkaline than 6.5, or it's somewhat acidic, because 7.0 is neutral, 6.5 is slightly acidic, and anything above that is too alkaline. And there is this product right in the middle of the screen. It's called Acidulem, and that would be the liquid you would want to consume to help your gut, because this delivers into your body the short chain fatty acids, which are the stuff your colon needs the most.
Okay, so it's 60 milliliter bottle, 2 ounces. Do I just chug it once or what?
Could you click on the instructions tab right there? There we just explain it.
This syringe may be used.
Yeah, he should have included a syringe, but he didn't. Inject 50 milliliters of the diluted rectally. You are giving yourself a colonic, and you first mix 1 teaspoon of this into a gallon of water.
Okay.
And then
so this is concentrated stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Take the diluted mix as your enema. This is the gold treatment of the colon hydrotherapy.
Right. Cool.
That's what this is.
And just
That's
so people know,
it.
We have the description of what it is. We have what's in it, so you can see lactic,
acidic, butyric, and propionic.
Yeah. And then we have articles, so you can find out more about these, and scientific references. Oftentimes, there'll be a long list of scientific references, because we don't do things we don't guess. We don't say you should stay 6 feet apart of everybody because, it sounds good, and we can't think of anything else to get people to do when they have a cold. We actually go and have people that do serious science, and then they create these products, and we make them available to you.
All right. So, if you go back one step, you will also see there should be protein. I'm just scanning through it. Okay. So the Panaceum, I mentioned the Panaceum, that's right at the top now. That's the mucopoly. No, not mucopoly. These are the oligosaccharides. These are the things
Parasites.
That's important, of course. But it's just an overall improved digestion, improved elimination. This is a healthy inner terrain, as we say. So if you have problems, this is one of the ways to go. And where are we now?
You want me to scroll down?
Yeah, scroll down one more time. And there we have Lactimet on the right side. That's the one that will include lactic acid. This time not in an enema, but you can swallow them. They come in drops. And not drops, capsules. And that's, again, pushing
a small intestine detox.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Martin, how often would you do a small intestine detox? Would it be like one week, once every 3 months, or ongoing?
Well, it really depends on how well the stuff is moving, right? If everything is very regular and happy and doesn't smell and has a reasonable shape, and you're not bloating and your body weight is okay, then you don't need it at all. And
right. But I mean, okay, like what percentage of the population would that be? 0.5?
I hope it's better. I don't know. It's you and I, for sure.
It's you and I, not 0.5, Martin. Yeah, when you got 400 million people and kids that are eating candy and sugar all day and all night.
Yeah.
And half of them get drunk on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's like, this
okay, so those people should do this once a month.
Once a month. Okay.
Yeah.
If you got issue. And I guess the other emphasis on that is you should change your lifestyle to a healthy lifestyle so that you're not having to do this once a month. Yeah. Right? We talk about the magic pill. Like, doing this doesn't fix all the bad things that you're doing. I mean, it helps, right? Yeah. But if you're if you're smoking 10 packs of cigarettes, it doesn't really matter what you do. Your lungs are going to be in terrible shape. And if you're eating, candy canes, I don't know why that popped in my head, chocolates all the time, it's not, it's going to be helpful.
This. Pop up what Kevin just put up.
I have now 30 days of a sort of regularity since using Exla products for the first time in decades. He's got regularity. Yeah, I also find that sea salt, 1 teaspoon in a glass of water in the morning and the
Yeah.
the X-Labs apple
There you
fiber.
go. Absolutely. There you go. Mineral
Thank you,
balance
Kevin.
and fiber. Water and fiber.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the salt should not be ignored.
So
Well,
Lactamet.
unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave you here
Oh yeah, we're late.
as usual.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. This has been a really fast-moving episode. He's Martin.
It's
I'm Scott. He's the health coach. Get to life-enthusiast.com. Give them a call. They answer the phone. They have a team of coaches that'll help you. We are live every Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are heading right now over to, thank you, George, to t.me / where is
Life
it? There
and
it
Co.
is. Life and Co. I'll put this into the comments. Come and
Bye-bye.
join us, and we'll be uncensored, and we'll be telling you exactly what we think about everything. Bye for now. See you next week.